Welcome back to Slam Shenanigans. This is going to be a little video here, a quick one on cleanup day. Going to get some piles of brush out of here that's been here for probably 6 or 7 years, way too long. So I'm just kind of had a bit of a shoulder injury and didn't want to mill, so I jumped in the excavator and decided to clean up some brush out of here and pile it up and burn it. So this is the first part here, just getting it out of here. It goes pretty quick with time lapse. And jump into a still picture here, kind of mid-project. Getting it all out of here and gonna get the burn started here shortly. Here we go. Nice, easy, slow start. I like it. Controlled. So now we're going to go into something that I don't typically do. I'm going to try and do quite a bit of video on this part of this video. Typically I do a lot of time lapse, and so now I'm going to try and do something that I typically don't do. Like I said, I do a lot of time lapse, and so I'm going to show you a bunch of video, and we'll see how you guys like this. So I'll adjust the volumes to where you get a bit of my voiceover and a bit of the actual, natural sounds of the video. So fire's been going for a little bit here, and I'll kind of jump in and out of video clips of as the fire progresses. For the most part, I've got the pile mostly stacked up, and you'll just see different portions of the day and me kind of pushing it up. What's interesting is that as I'm pushing this pile up, it looks like you can see, or it looks like I can see really easy, but what's deceiving is that as I'm pushing this pile up, what looks like good clear view, the second I touch that pile, the ash is so thick that I literally can't see the bucket or the pile. So a lot of times anyways. I think somewhere in here pretty shortly I'm going to move that rock out of the way. I think you saw it earlier. It was kind of in the pile of under the trees, and I got it out of the way, so I'll grab it and get it out of the way here, I think, shortly. But like I said, this was just a bunch of brush that was just sitting in there for years, so I wasn't really sure it was going to burn too well because a lot of it was just soaked up with recent rains. But it did take off kind of slow, which was nice to start. I didn't want it to go crazy because there are some trees around there, and I didn't want to necessarily scorch them and stunt their growth. I kind of wanted to keep a couple of these going. They're cedars. One was an oak. So I'm just kind of pushing it up. And with the burn piles, you basically just kind of want to start them kind of slow. Yeah, here's where I think I grab this rock and I get it up out of the way here. With my rocks, I kind of just, as I'm doing different things around the property, I kind of put them off to the side, and then eventually I'll find a use for them somewhere, whether it's a retaining wall or put them beside a creek bed or something that I'm doing with them. But the brush piles, yeah, you just basically start them and then you kind of tend to them and try to just burn them up as flat as they can be. So for this one, this isn't a designated burn spot, so I'm just basically burning it in place and try to get that burn pile down as flat as possible, and then I'll come through and just kind of doze it over. Oh, there was a piece of OSB that had been sitting there for years with a couple 2x4s to it. So yeah, there's a couple screws in it, but I'll come back and try to find those with a metal detector later and get them out of the property. I don't like leaving a lot of metal or screws later because it gets in my rubber tire stuff like the side-by-side, and that's not good. But I'll push it up into the backside. It burnt completely eventually, but kind of hard to see on video. But yeah, I'll throw that up in there and get rid of it. Wasn't worth saving. Just burn it and get rid of it. Got so much wood and stuff laying around the property. Just try to clean it up is what I'm trying to do. Lost my dad a few years ago, and when I had to clean his property up, it was just one thing I didn't want to do to my children is leave them tons of stuff to go through, so kind of made a conscious decision a few years back to start paring down what I have laying around. Equipment, materials, just I want to get stuff cleaned up. So obviously trees and things they don't have to go through, but this is just part of it. You know, clean up the property, and I'm going to start selling off things that I don't use, and cleaning up the property is part of it. Just get a clean slate and start getting rid of some equipment, clean up the property. It's just kind of all part of the deal. So here is suggest that to everybody else. Kind of look around. If you've got property and you've got a lot of equipment you don't use, implements, whatever, pare it down, organize it. You know, don't do that to your children. It is a lot to go through. When you lose a loved one, it's tough enough for that, but then after the aftermath, it is a lot to go through. So something to think about when you get older. Just going through a house is tough, but when you have somebody that has property, wow, it is a lot to go through. Things you think about when you get older. So you see I'm just kind of pushing the pile up. Sometimes things roll down, so you grab them, you pick them up. Burn days are always kind of relaxing too. It's even more relaxing when you're just pulling levers. You're not there working hard. So, and again, like I said, I got a shoulder injury, so it's a whole lot easier to pull levers than grab things and chuck them around. I apologize if you hear in the background snoring. That is my beloved Staffy next to me as I'm editing on my iPhone. Again, if you like this content, hit subscribe. Help me out here, because the more subscribers I have, and once I hit that 1,000 mark, I will. I'm promising you guys for years that once I hit that monetized thing, I will get better content or better equipment, and I will get some better equipment and actually start editing on real equipment. So threw in some stills there. So here again, like I said, that was kind of interesting. Thing dropped down just as I was walking back up to the thing. I will get better equipment and I will edit on different things. But like I said, if you hear my dog snoring, that's her. So I'm sitting here editing this on my phone. This is later on in the day. I'm coming back to the excavator, and I'm going to just tend the fire. You can see it's burnt down. So I'm just jumping in the excavator, and I'm going to push the pile up. You can see a little chunk of stump had rolled down. So it's just rinse and repeat. And again, once that dust rolls up, I literally, for a few seconds there, I could not see anything in front of me. I know it doesn't look bad from your point of view here on the screen, but I cannot see a thing when that happens from the cab. The other thing, it doesn't really come across well in the videos, that's the slope is always a lot steeper than it shows there. I mean, it's not steep by any stretch of the means, I'm not saying that, but it's quite a bit steeper than it shows there. It's funny. I mean, for me, this is nothing steep-wise at all. I mean, this my property is very, very steep, but this is nothing, but it is steeper than it shows. I think if I remember right, there was when I was tending this portion, there was a lot of, I'd move stuff and it'd roll off a lot. We'll see what happens here. My dog's really snoring right now. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not, but she's funny. I think with this fire, I tended it, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times before it got dark. And I did a lot of video on this one, so. Please do comment on this one. I'd like to know if you guys like the video format versus the time lapse. And hit that subscribe. Helps me out. Been doing a lot of shorts lately too, and it seems like the shorts, whether it's this type of content or if I put the puppies up there, the shorts get a lot of subscriber hits. So, which helps build the channel, but I'd like to see people hit subscribe on this type of content. This is what I want to build the channel on, is the outdoor stuff, the tractor stuff, building content, fabrication. A lot of dirt in that one, but last year I didn't get a lot of burning done like I wanted to, and I should. So I got to make sure that as the rains hit this year, I get a lot of my piles taken care of. Which was funny because this is right towards the end of, we got a lot of rains, and it was kind of really drying out right as I lit these piles. This is the second of some big piles that I lit off, and I probably should have lit one of a larger pile that was right in the middle of a bunch of trees further down on my property. I should have lit that one first when it was really, really wet. But when I lit this one, it was a little too dry to light those off, those piles, because they're underneath canopies, and I don't want to do that when it's this dry. It's not dry, but those were some big piles, and like I said, they're underneath trees, and they're underneath my oak trees, and I don't want to light my oak trees on fire. Wouldn't necessarily light them on fire, but it would scorch them, and if you kind of get them hot, they can stunt their growth, and I don't like doing that. So I'm gonna wait for another good rain and a burn day, and then I'll go in and light those piles on. I thought I was gonna be able to push them with the dozer down to the lower road and light them off on the lower road, but they were just too big a pile, and the dozer wouldn't move them. So I tried it actually with the skid steer and the dozer, and neither of those two pieces of equipment would move the piles, so I'm gonna have to just burn them where they're at. Made the piles a little too big. So we'll just burn them where they're at when it gets real wet. So I think that is, based on what I'm doing with the excavator, that's going to be it for this push-up. And you'll see I'll just get out, and I don't think I edited any of my in and out of the excavator out of this one. I'll just let you see me walk in and out. Pick up a few, throw them in there. Do the scratch. Sorry about that, folks. And I got a couple of still shots here. So now we're into the, it's not really evening, it's probably like 4 o'clock or so. It's getting dark. You can see I got my jacket on. Good gosh, Jim, you walk like an old man. Again, I got a shoulder injury, so I'm kind of not walking with the greatest posture. Should be interesting when you push the piles up and it's not like this. You get some good sparks. Should be a pretty good show. Yeah. If I remember right, I don't show you an after on this. This should be one of the last push-ups, but the pile did burn down really, really good. I got it almost to a pretty much flat ash pile in the morning, which was great. And I did end up cleaning pretty much completely all the way under the trees, which was fantastic. Made me feel really good because that stuff was just sitting there for years. And I did some dozer work with the blade on the excavator, and then flattened all that area out, cleaned out underneath the trees, which if a real fire came through there, it would have taken out all the trees. So this is all cleaned up now, which is protecting that. And it's right next to the little cottage that I call it. Was a garage that we kind of converted into a cottage. And actually walked the excavator out to the driveway and cleaned up a bunch of that stuff that was knocked down. So it was a good little day's cleanup, and I got it all burned up. So I was quite happy with that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think we're coming to the end here. Kind of just a day in the life of what you got for property here. This isn't any of the work for the excavating job, Haslam & Sons, but this is just what I got to do around my property to keep it maintained, keep the fire danger down. And again, this pile was way too long. It sat around way too long, but handy to have your actual business equipment around. Because to do this by hand, oh my goodness. Try and pull all that stuff out from under there by hand, it would be almost impossible. It would not be fun at all. Couldn't do it with a broken shoulder like I got right now. It would be impossible. So some of these trees were huge, well, for hands. But yeah. So if you like this stuff, please consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it. There we go. I'm walking around. That is it.